Album of the Week, episode 80. Hey guys, this week we're taking a look at Mahler's Third Symphony with the New York Philharmonic performing under the direction of Leonard Bernstein with the Brooklyn Boys Chorus as well as Christa Ludwig along with New York choral artists performing alongside the New York Philharmonic. So this was recorded in 1987, I believe. That's what it says in here. Let me just double check this. It says it was recorded in Avery Fisher Hall in November of 1987. And I believe this album was released in 1989. Could be totally off on that, but that's from what I could find in the nice program notes that they have there. This is 2 discs because Mahler 3 is a long... It's a long symphony. It's Mahler's longest, so it's split up into 2 separate halves of the symphony. There are 6 movements throughout the symphony. So Mahler wrote this in 1896, and it was composed between 1893 and 1896. It is his longest piece that he's written for the symphony, and a typical performance lasts somewhere between 90 minutes and 105 minutes, all depending on how quickly you play certain things. And it was voted one of the 10 greatest symphonies of all time in a survey of conductors carried out by the BBC Music Magazine, which is pretty cool and I think well deserving. As a trumpet player, I love basically anything Mahler, and Mahler 3 is great. I recently worked through the entire symphony, Mahler 3, with my teacher, Matt Ernst. So that's why I was doing a little extra listening. I'm a little hazy on it. I worked on it a couple weeks ago, so I'm trying to remember everything about it. But yeah, so it's built, it's structured in 6 different movements, and it's like a programmatic work. So Mahler had this narrative idea throughout the symphony. So and everything I'm saying here is just taken from Wikipedia. So in its simplest form, the program consists of a title for each of the 6 movements. Pan awakes, summer marches in, what the flowers in the meadow tell me, what the animals in the forest tell me, what man tells me, what the angels tell me, and finally 6, what love tells me. An interesting thing about this too is, I'm looking for where it is. Here it is, the 7th movement. Well, there is no 7th movement, but Mahler had originally written a 7th movement for this. He envisioned it and he called it Heavenly Life, and alternatively What the Child Tells Me, but he eventually dropped this, and it actually takes the place of the last movement of his 4th symphony, which is pretty interesting. But several musical motifs taken from Heavenly Life appear in the 5th chorale movement of the 3rd symphony. So this is a really amazing symphony. It's great for trumpet players. Instrumentation wise, it's hefty. You won't see as many orchestras smaller orchestras do this just because of the demands instrumentation wise and also choral wise. It's a lot. It's 4 flutes, 4 oboes, 3 clarinets, 2 E-flat clarinets, and then you've got, for brass, you've got the famous post-horn solo. That is one of the most famous excerpts in all of trumpet repertoire. So so the way I play it, this is just a side note, right now, because I don't have like a cornet or I don't have a post horn or anything like that. But what I have is I have a Austin Custom brass mouthpiece that I use in my C trumpet. It's not the greatest sound. It's like a flugel mouthpiece. It works, but it's not excellent for it. You'd want like more like a cornet instrument. A lot of people used a lot of different things though. So, and we have 8 horns, 4 trumpets, 4 trombones and tuba, percussion 7 timpani, played by 2 players, bass drum, several snare drums, used only in movement 1 offstage, cymbals, triangle, tambourine, tam-tam, root. What is that? I have no idea what that is. 6 bells and 2 glockenspiels. I just want to look at what root is. It's like a cane root drumsticks. It's a beater for drums. I'm not a percussionist, but you can do your own research if you're more interested in learning about the root. But anyways, going back to the instrumentation, the voices, there's an alto solo in movements 4 and 5, and there's a women's choir in movement 5, and there's also a boys choir. Used for strings, there's 2 harps, and then your standard first violin, second violin, viola, cello, and bass. So there's a bunch of great text that was brought in. Mahler is a composer unlike any other. You know, he took so much from Beethoven, but he expanded on it so much more. I think a lot of trumpet players love him because, you know, Mahler gives trumpet players so much to play with and so much big, huge moments. Probably most famous is the opening solos to Mahler's 5th Symphony, but the post-horn solo is just about as famous, probably not quite as, but anyways, Mahler is an excellent writer for brass and just orchestral works. Mahler's 3rd Symphony probably isn't my favorite of his 9, 10, if you include his like unfinished one, but it's not my favorite of his, but it's top 5, I would say for sure, is Mahler's 3rd Symphony. I love Mahler 3. So yeah, there is that on this week's Album of the Week. Now for next week, I have some sad news, maybe. So I've decided that I'm gonna stop this series. Not forever, but I am gonna take a break. Honestly, just recording these videos, this one kind of included, I felt kind of like I haven't been, the quality isn't there, and now I'm just starting to pump these Album of the Weeks out just to get it done, and I don't really want that to happen. I don't think this is the last Album of the Week. I am going to be taking a pretty extended break from this, though. If you're just discovering this now, you've got 79 other albums that I've reviewed, so you should stay pretty busy with that. But yeah, for sure, probably at least like 6 months, maybe a year. I'm not really sure. Maybe forever. I don't know. But as of now, my plans are to just stop. I have no plans on coming back, but I have a feeling I'll eventually get back to it. Could be totally wrong. But yeah, so there's not going to be an Album of the Week next week, and I'm going to put a pause on this series. So I'm sorry if that greatly saddens you. I have a feeling that probably isn't the case, but if there is enough want for me somehow to bring this series back, I will do so. I am going to take at least a few months off no matter what, but comment below if you really love this series. I'm more than happy to continue making them, but otherwise I'm going to just take a leave of absence with no specific plan of returning. Like I said, I don't think this is the last episode, but it very well could be. I was going to do Bruckner 7 next week, so maybe I'll start with that one for Album of the Week 81, and maybe I won't. I'm not sure. But anyways, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for watching if you've been watching, like, this is my 80th one. Like, holy crap, I've made 80 Album of the Weeks. That's ridiculous, as my computer goes on in the background. That's seriously crazy to me. Originally, I was planning on going to 100, but I don't want to put 20 more mediocre album reviews out. So we're ending on Mahler 3. Like I said, this series may come back in the future, but for right now, taking a pause. So thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, give me a like, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss any of my other videos. I post so many other videos other than this Album of the Week series. Comment below, like I said, if you want me to bring it back. Also, your thoughts on Mahler 3. I'm more than happy to chat about that too. And thanks so much for watching, and I will see you whenever I see you.